It's Wednesday. So we are halfway through the week officially. Screaming children. Um, yeah, we're officially halfway through the week, and what a week it's been. Um, I talked a little bit yesterday about how I was kind of rechanneling some of my bad habits of stress eating and coping via eating and binge eating and basically putting all the bad things in my body and then feeling guilty about it and laying in my bed like a schlub. Um, and just basically doing all the things that were bad for myself, but that gave me a sense of control. Um, Holy cats. Are you being murdered? Sorry, there are some kids playing in the hallway and they're screeching like banshees. I don't know if you guys can hear it. Um, yeah. But um I'm really sorry if you keep hearing that in the background. Um, but yeah, so this week has been incredibly stressful. um, and believe you me, the temptation to try and cope with it via stress eating is very high. Um, but I am very proud of the fact that I haven't done that. I've been able to kind of shift the outlet towards working out, um, which has been really good. I am very sore today. I definitely pushed myself yesterday. My quads and my hamstrings are screaming. I was trying. Um, I was walking down a set of stairs. Technically it was 3 flights of stairs, but I was walking down them this morning, and I was like, "Ooh, ah, he, ha." my, my legs were so stiff. Um, and even my one of my coworkers was like laughing at me. She's just like, "What happened? You sound like an old woman." Just, uh. So, um, but yeah, so things obviously have been extremely stressful, in like real life, y'all. Um, in like real life stuff. Um, but turning around and using exercise as a way to cope has been actually really good, because it kind of stop running. I'm sorry, it's so distracting. I'm trying so hard to just freaking record, but it's literally right outside my door. It sounds like a stampede. Um, so it's very distracting. But yeah, so it's been really good to kind of pour a lot of that into exercise instead. Um, it's given me it's given me the space to kind of focus on one thing at a time. Um, because again, it's like I can push a lot of the like emotional frustration into the exercise and get it out that way, and then it like clears up space in my head to be like, okay, what is going to be the most logical like course of action going forward. um it's it's very freeing, like it does. And again, it doesn't make the problems go away. It doesn't it doesn't change any of like my outside, y'all. It doesn't change any of like the outside situations. um but it gives me room to kind of take the focus off of my own emotional turmoil and kind of clear the fog with that so I can at least logically look at the situation. Because when you get emotional about things, it's really easy to make the wrong decision because you want to just respond because you're upset, or you want to you want to take a certain course of action because like you're frustrated or you're angry or anything like that. But when you have space to like really clearly think about something, it helps you genuinely and logically just like look at the situation as a whole and go, okay, what is going to be my best path forward? Um, and even though it might still be a really frustrating situation and it might still be something that like sits with you, um, you can at least come at it a little more level headed. I listened to a couple of different podcasts. I don't listen to a ton of podcasts, um, but I will if it's someone that like um, I'm interested in hearing, like one-off episodes. If it's like an interview with somebody that I'm interested in hearing their thoughts on. And I want to say it was an interview with Scotty K Fitness, I think. Um, it was either that or Mitchell Hooper, um, one of those two. But one of them said is like when you when you're out in the world, you have a lot of problems. When you're in the gym, you've got one problem. It's just like, oh, okay, cool. No, it was Scotty K Fitness. Okay, sorry, I'm misquoting that. It was Scotty K Fitness because he was talking about getting in fights, and he said when you're in the world, you have a lot of problems. When you're in the ring, you have one problem, and it's that guy. Um, sorry for misquoting that. Oh, good. The power just went out, and it's back on. Cool. Either someone accidentally flipped a breaker, or the storm just had the power go out. Um, Everything seems relatively fine. I'll have to just reset the clock on my oven when I'm done here. Anyway, this is the video of just like 1,000 distractions. I'm so sorry. Um, what was I? Oh, when you're in the ring, one problem. That's kind of how it feels like with working out. It's like in that moment, in the space of that time, those 10 minutes, um, it's like, yeah, I have a million freaking problems in the real world. But in the space of that 10 minutes, my problems narrow down to I have one problem, and it is pushing this weight or doing this many sets or doing this many reps. So that's something that like I can just give myself tunnel vision into that and just like focus all of my frustration and all of my anger and just like narrow it in on that. And then when I'm done, I've worked not all, but like a lot of the frustration and a lot of the just like the emotional turmoil out, and I can like step back and be like, okay, now let's move forward. Um and I don't know that I've had that before with working out. I mean, I've when I was younger, I was a lot more physically fit. Like I was very, very fit as a kid, or as in like my early years of high school. Um, like I was on a wrestling team and could bench press 120 at like 14 years old, which I know some people are like, oh, that's not that much. 120 isn't the end of the world. That's a lot when you're like a 5'3", 5'4", 14-year old who went from, not working out all the time to suddenly working out all the time, for 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. I, yeah. Um, I never really had that kind of focus with working out of like, oh, this is a way for me to work out my frustrations. With working out, it was always a competition. Like I was on a team with 60 dudes. like like it was always like, oh, I got to keep up or I'm going to get absolutely destroyed. Like I'm going to fall behind, they're going to beat the crap out of me, and I'm going to be an embarrassment to the team. So I always just like pushed myself harder because I had to, because I felt like I had to. I've never had working out be a way to like cope with my issues or yeah, it's never been a way to like cope with my issues or work through my emotions. It's always been something that like I had to do. Even when it like brought out the good side of my competitive nature because I am a competitive person. um like even when it brought out that competitive nature, like it wasn't me trying to work through anything or like using it as a coping skill or anything like that. It was literally just me trying to not fall behind. Um and maybe that's why like I struggled with it on and off for so many years. I don't know. Cuz I like being strong. Like for me, I never feel better in my own body than when I am strong as heck. Like I remember how I felt when I could fun story time. Um we had a guy, I forget if he was like 250 or 275, one of our wrestlers. Um and of course we're horsing around, we're high schoolers, and we were like going around like picking each other up, like just locking our arms around like just under the hips, and just like hoisting people up. And somebody bet me that I couldn't pick this guy up, and I'm like, all right, bet, because I'm competitive. And so this dude is in a completely different conversation, like across the room, and I just walked over to him and I was just like, "Hey, hold still for a second." And I just squatted down and just like scooped him up. And it was tough. Like I'm not gonna pretend that it was easy, um, but it's I felt so amazing. Like like my confidence of myself was so strong in that moment. I freaking loved it. Um, and I kind of want to get to that point again. Like I feel like in previous times when I tried to lose weight, I was always like, or tried to get healthy, I was always like focusing on a number of losing weight. And so I was like, oh, I want to get to this weight. I want to get to, like this dress size. I remember in my early 20s, um, somebody was like making a comment about how I had gained a lot of weight. And that like, it, it, it was very demoralizing the way that they brought it up and the way that they said it to me. And I like let it get really in my head. And so like I pulled out a pair of jeans from middle school because I was stupid like that. Um, and like hung them up on my dresser as like a way for me to try and like get down to that size. Which like again, don't do that. That's like such the wrong thing to do. There's no faster way to give yourself a complex than to try and fit into jeans that you wore when you were literally 12 years old. Like, oh my god. And I don't even know why I still had them. Probably for some reason like that. Probably because I felt guilty and was like, "Oh, remember when you used to be this small?" Um, yeah, insane, insane. Um, I say that about myself. Like I'm not trying to make anybody else feel bad about it. Like I'm talking about myself here. Like that messed me up. But I look at previous attempts to lose weight, and it was literally just lose weight. There was nothing behind it. And I know that there were some times when I was like, oh, I want to get healthier, I want to do this. And it was like, yes, I did want to get healthier, but my primary goal was losing weight. And I feel like my perspective has kind of shifted. Um, and it's not that I don't want to lose weight anymore, it's that I want to get strong. I want to feel good in my own body, and whatever the side effects of that are, I know it'll come along. And like, I'm already starting to lose. And there goes the power again. And it comes back on. Cool. Um, we'll see. Comes back on. Sorry, I was waiting. I was listening to the breaker going off. I know I probably can't hear it on the recording, but I was listening to the breaker out there. Um, but uh, I just want to feel good in my body. Like, I want to get strong. Um, I am like already starting to lose weight, and it's not a lot. I lost like 5 pounds in the last 3 weeks, which, like, if you're going by like, oh, the weight loss plan, whatever, lose 30 pounds in 30 days, don't do that to yourself. Um, I know, I know from experience and from research that a lot of that's going to be water weight. Um, but it's like, I I'm already feeling better in my body, like in myself, knowing that I am stronger today than I was 2.5 weeks ago. That's huge for me. And I have not felt good in my body in a very long time. And I'm not to the point where I'm like comfortable in my body. Like, feeling better in my body is different from feeling comfortable in my body. I definitely don't feel comfortable yet. Um, but I'm feeling better. And that's a huge step. I am significant. I shouldn't say significantly. I am stronger now than I was before. And I would like to continue to get strong. And I would like to continue to work on not using food as a coping mechanism and not using binge eating as a way to deal with feelings that are better dealt with in other avenues. Right now, working out is kind of what I'm channeling it all into, but down the road, I'd like to kind of expand it and just. I want to get back into journaling again. I know that sounds so like teenage girl, but like, I used to journal a lot. I used to just fill up journals like nobody's business. Um, I'd like to kind of journal again. I think that would be a really healthy way for me to just like mentally work through a lot of stuff. Um, because working out is like a good immediate response of just like getting the frustration out. But if I'm gonna have long term, um, like, deal with why I turn to food as a coping mechanism long term, I need to sort through a lot of stuff. Um, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I know it's a lot of really heavy thoughts for Random Wednesday. Um, and again, I apologize for all of the distractions that have been happening in this video. Um, I I don't really plan what I'm gonna say. I just kind of sit down and start the camera and start talking. So I'm sorry, that's kind of scatterbrained and all that kind of stuff, but I do really appreciate you all for watching. Um, Genuinely, I've just kind of been posting this as like a way to keep myself accountable, but like, there are a handful of you out there that are watching me, and that feels huge. Like, I don't know who you are, I don't know where you are in the world or your life or anything, but like, I'm really grateful that you've chosen to watch, and I'm really, really grateful that you're here for the journey. Um, and I hope you're doing well. I hope your week is going well. I hope your life is going well. And I hope that if you're kind of where I'm at, that you find a way to move forward. Yeah. Uh, yeah. I love you. Stay hydrated. Take care of yourself. Bye.